Welcome to Men of Order. Before we go any further, I want to know who's with me live. So leave me a comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're watching from so I can shout you out and show you some love. Now, listen carefully. Men of Order is not for every kind of man. Men of Order is for a very specific kind of man. See, Men of Order is not for men who are lazy. It's not for men who are trying to escape responsibility. This is not for the man that's looking for the easy way out. This is for men who are carrying weight. You go to work. You show up for your people. You handle problems. You try to do what's right. And yet, life still feels heavier than it should. Can you relate? If that's you, type "that's me" in the comments. Let me know if you feel what I'm saying. We're going to hop straight into today's session, guys. Today, we're going to talk about this. You keep starting things and you can't finish. You start the week with plans. You start the project. You start the new habit. You start the phone calls you needed to return. You start cleaning things up in your life. You start fixing your money. And then all of a sudden, everything stalls. And the scary part is when it stalls and you don't finish, you start to think maybe this is just how life is supposed to be. I start things and I don't finish. Why? Because there's so much to do. There's so much on my plate. If you've ever thought I'm always behind, type me in the comments. I want you guys to know something. Today is not about doing more work. Today is about seeing why you can't finish. You're so busy going, you can't see what's behind you. You can't see the reason why you have so many tasks on your plate that never gets done. And we're going to talk about what an ordered man does to fix that problem. So let me be very clear. This is not a motivational talk. This is not me yelling at you, telling you to get your life together. This is a reality check, guys. By the end of this session, you should be able to say, I see why I don't finish what I start. I know what keeps stealing my week. I know the first move I need to make so I can finish what I start, so that I can get important things done, so that I can make progress, so that I can have peace of mind and a sense of accomplishment in my life. If you want that type of clarity, chat, type clear. I see y'all tapping in with me. I see Florida's in the house. I also see some ladies tuning in from ATL and Texas. Good. Let's get to work, guys. I want to leave y'all with a quick note before I go any further. If you know that today is about you and you want to talk live, I'm going to put the link in the comment section right now because I want y'all to join me live. We're going to talk about it today. I want y'all to talk with me a little bit later in the session, but I'm going to put the link in right now just so you have time to get ready. So I'm putting the link in the comments. I'm putting it on the screen. Make sure you have your camera ready. Make sure you get yourself situated and prepared. I know what y'all thinking, man, Uzziah bold for trying to go live during the Super Bowl. Listen, we locking in. They already getting their money if they in the Super Bowl. They're already operating at the peak of their career. This is about us operating at our peak. Later, for watching everybody else at the top of their game, it's time for us to take our life to the next level. So if you know today's session is about you and you want to talk live, click that link that I just put in the comments section. We're going to talk one-on-one a little bit later, but I'm putting a link out there for you right now so that way you can get ready. All right. So let's talk about the core problem that we're addressing on today's session of Men of Order. Y'all want to know what it is? Most men don't have a reset for their week. Most men don't have a reset. So what happens? Last week bleeds into this week. Let me make it plain for you. This is what the disordered man is doing with his life. He's holding his entire life in his head. He's trying to remember everything. He's trying to keep up with emails, text messages, bills, and deadlines just by thinking about it. This guy wakes up and checks his phone. He sees a message and he reacts. He opens up another message and he reacts. Maybe it's one on social media, maybe it's one in his text messages. But then he remembers that he forgot about something, and then he reacts to that. Before he knows it, he's spending his entire day putting out all of these little fires. So, what is he thinking while he's doing this? He's thinking, man, if I just push today, I'll catch up. If I just grind this week, next week will be better. Man, if I forget something, I'll remember it later. I don't have time to sit down and plan. But here's what that mentality cost him. He stays on edge all week. His mind never rests because he's treating his mind like a storage unit, holding on to his every responsibility. He misses things that matter in his life because all the urgent stuff keeps screaming for his attention. Some of us are so busy, we don't know the difference between urgent and important. And we're going to talk about it today. See, this is how disorder creeps in. A disordered man can't focus on the things that matter because he's too busy chasing urgent, non-important stuff that gets in the way. But it's like a crying baby. Have you ever felt like that? Some of y'all might have wanted to write a book in your life. You wanted to start a business, but you find yourself running a million errands. Have you ever noticed that as all of these errands pile up throughout the day, the thing that you really want to work on gets pushed to the back burner? Can y'all relate? Let me know in the comments section. Let me know if you understand what I'm saying. This kind of man always disappoints people by saying, my bad, I forgot. This type of man, he spends a lot of money paying late fees because he starts stuff that he doesn't finish. Shout out to Sir Yasharala for the $10 super chat. Thank you, sir, as always, for supporting the work. Today, we're talking about why you can't finish what you start. How does a disordered man go through his life? Why can't a disordered man start what he finishes? This is what he does. He keeps losing time looking for stuff, looking for the login info to the website that he needs to be on to handle his business. He's wasting time looking for the email that has the address to the appointment that he's running late to. I know you've been through that before. I know that's happened. This disordered man is too busy wasting time looking for the paper that he swore he put on the desk that has all the important information that he needs to take the next step on a very important project. He can't find it. It's lost. This guy is all over the place. No wonder he can't finish what he starts. He's spending all his time checking for stuff, unorganized. He's checking his bank account over and over. He's checking his calendar every 5 minutes. He's checking his phone around the clock, trying to check the latest text thread. Why? Because he's not sure what he's already handled and what he hasn't. I need y'all to hear what I'm saying. This guy, he's moving at a mile a minute, and he's moving so fast, he doesn't know what he's accomplished and what he hasn't. But then by the end of the day, he looks himself in the mirror and says, man, what did I do today? I feel like I did a lot, but I don't feel accomplished. And if nothing changes in this man's life, here's what happens next. The backlog of all of his unfinished tasks, it only gets bigger. He can't keep up with the pace of his demands. So the pile of his demands only get heavier. The week starts off feeling like a chase. Week done barely started. He's already feeling behind. Can y'all relate to this? If I'm talking to you right now, type me in the chat. I want you to let me know if you can relate to what's happening with this man. As soon as the week begins, he already feels like he's behind the 8 ball. That's how much stress he's holding on to. The man starts losing hope because he can't point to real progress. Let me tell you guys the loop out loud. This is the loop that he's going through. I start stuff, I don't finish it. I feel behind, I try harder, I still don't finish. Let me run that back. I start stuff, but I don't finish. I feel behind, so I try harder, but I still don't finish. If that loop feels like your life, type loop, because I want to know that I'm helping you work through the right problem. You know, if you got this all figured out, we can get off the live. But something tells me this is why you came to Men of Order. It's so that you could add order to your productivity. Now, let's name what's really going on. Here's the disorder in one sentence. Your week has no reset, so nothing gets fully closed. Let me explain what I mean when I say closed. Closed means the task is done, the bill is handled, the deadline is already covered, the next step is written down, and you know exactly when you're going to do it. See, the disordered man doesn't close loops. He leaves loops open. There's always something. A loop is anything you started that still needs something from you. A loop is, I still need to call the bank. I need to finish that report. I need to schedule that appointment. I need to send that email. I need to renew this subscription. I need to fix that leak. That's what a loop is. But watch this. Here's what a disordered man does with his loops. He keeps those loops in his head. He tells himself, don't forget it. You got this, you got that. Don't forget it. And then the day gets busy, the day gets loud, and before he knows it, he forgets. But before he forgets, do you know what his mindset was? If I write it down, it'll take too long. Yeah, I'll write it down, but I'll do that later. You know what? It's not that serious. Why do I need to write it down on paper? Oh, you know what? I'm so busy, I can't deal with that right now. And here's what that cost him: it cost him trust because people know they can't rely on him. He's always forgetting this, that, and the third. It cost him a loss of credibility because he starts things that he doesn't finish. It cost him money because money is on the line. If he would finish his projects, he could make more money. But because he doesn't finish them, he ends up losing money. See, this is the type of guy that'll spend money to invest in things, but he won't finish his investment. He won't see it through. He might go to college and drop out. He might join a program and not even work through the material. He's wasting time and money starting things, but not finishing. And that cost him a lot of sleepless nights because either he's always playing catch up so much that he has to pull constant all nighters, or he can't rest well because he has so much on his mind about all of the things that he knows that he should have done but never did. And that costs him a lot of peace. See, guys, when we're talking about loops, I'm just showing you the cause and effect. I'm showing you how a life of disorder will play out. See, you can't see it that clearly in the moment, can you? Because you're so busy running, you can't see how this step will lead to this step and how this will affect that. So you convince yourself that if you just stay busy with no strategy, one day it's all going to pay off. But then you run yourself into the ground with no results. How many of us feel so busy, we're so hardworking, but then we tell ourselves, man, I feel like I'm struggling to get by. I'm just trying to make it. Why do I feel like such a hard worker? But at times, my life feels average. How are other people able to accomplish all of these wonderful things? And yet, I got the same 24 hours, but I'm stuck in the same place. It's because of open loops. It's because when you keep these open loops going in your head, they don't sit quiet. It sits in the back of your mind. And from time to time, it's going to tap you on the shoulder. Hey, you forgot to get this from the grocery store. Hey, you forgot to call this person back. Hey, you forgot this deadline that was due on this day. And if nothing changes, a small loop becomes a big problem. A late bill turns into a credit hit. Oh, now you can't buy that house you wanted because your credit's jacked up. Now you can't buy that car. See, we got to be forward thinking about this, people. That missed email becomes a missed opportunity because someone was trying to give you a shot. A later project becomes a failed project because you never got around to it. You never finished it on time. So then this disordered man starts living life in cleanup mode. He's always trying to clean up his past mistakes. I want y'all to do something for me right now. I want you to type heavy if your mind feels full like that. If you go through your day and your mind is racing because you got a lot on your plate, but you don't have a system to stay on track with all of your responsibilities, type heavy. It feels heavy, doesn't it? Look at the comments. Heavy. Heavy. Thank y'all for being honest. Now I'm going to show you why you keep ending up in the same place every week. Guys, I want to talk to y'all about the hamster wheel of life. This is so important. We go through life at times feeling like we're running on a hamster wheel. The reason why the hamster wheel is so dangerous is because when you can't finish what you start blaming yourself and beating yourself up. You tell yourself, I need more discipline. I need to wake up earlier. I need to push harder. Miss Israel, sound familiar? But the truth is simpler. You're trying to run a week with no reset. Let me paint the picture for you. Tell me if this feels familiar, y'all. You start Monday already behind. Not because Monday is so hard, but because Sunday didn't clarify anything. Sunday didn't clear anything up. You sit at work and you remember three things that you forgot to do. You open your phone and you see a message that you didn't answer. You remember a bill that you didn't pay. You remember a deadline that you didn't reach. So what do? You start reacting. You start trying to patch everything up. Now you're in panic mode. You start apologizing. You start saying, "My bad, I'll get to it." All the while, you're thinking, "I could fix it if I just move faster." I don't have time to sit down. I got to get going. I don't have time to put a plan together because I'm so busy. You know what? I'll plan my life once life starts slowing down. I don't know if I'm talking to y'all today, but if I am, I need y'all to really hear what I'm saying. This is what people say when disorder creeps into their life. I've tried to help so many people in my life and take the time to walk them through how to get to the next level. Do you know what the number one thing they tell me is if they never take the time to work with me? Oh, you know what? When life isn't so busy, then I'll get to it. When I don't have so much on my plate, I will get to it later. But you don't see you're caught in the loop. You're the hamster in the hamster wheel who's already convinced yourself, if I just run harder, then I'm going to have more time. If I just work harder, then life is going to open up for me. It doesn't work that way. Guys, your problem is not always about how hard you're working. It's about the mentality that you bring to your life's vision. Okay, so last Sunday we talked about a vision, right? You've taken the time to identify where you want to go in your life. Now, here we are 1 week later talking about how do you get there? You can have the vision all day, but how do you take the next step towards that vision? You could have the greatest vision in the world, but your mindset can stop you from getting there. This person's mindset is holding them back in life, and they give themselves all of these BS excuses as to why they're not where they know they should be. And then they tell themselves, oh, that's okay. They tell themselves, I will get there next week, only so that they don't have to confront themselves today. They tell themselves, you know what? I will get to where I'm supposed to be next year so that they can give themselves an excuse to operate less than this year. I need y'all to understand, man, time is precious. We don't have time to play with life. We are men of order. So we got to get our mind right and the results will follow. But if you don't get your mind right and you stay just caught in the hamster wheel of life, guess what's going to happen? You're going to give the best energy of your life to putting out useless fires. You're going to stay busy being busy. Think about this, guys. We ain't getting no younger. I don't know about y'all. The older I get, the more I feel how hard it is to tap into my best energy. See, I still got something left. All praise to the Most High. But what I'm saying is, the older we get, the more urgent we ought to be about getting our mind right, because we have to be wiser to make up for the lack of energy that we lose over time. With the energy that we have left within us, it cannot be wasted on little things. Now is the time for us to take the energy that we have to become the very best version of ourselves. But the disordered man will never reach that because he's too busy putting his energy on BS. He's too busy putting his energy towards errands, towards things that he could pay somebody a small amount of money to do. He's not writing a book that he said that he wanted to dedicate to his family because he's too busy washing his car. He's too busy doing random errands. He doesn't have time to start the business. He thinks in his mind he can do it all in one day, and then wonders why 1 year looks like the next year and the year that came before that. It all looks the same. The year in front of you and the year behind you, with this mindset, it all looks the same. When you have this mindset, you give the best of your life to the small things. And then when it comes to the big things like your goals, that gets the leftovers. How many times have you wanted to start a business, but then you work at a job that you can't stand? All that energy gets pulled out from you at the job. Then you go home and you're like, man, I'm too tired to start this business. You give your dream the leftovers. You get home and then you're short with people. You don't want to deal with people, not because you don't love them, but because you're already drained from the day. A day of what? Reacting to things, being reactive and not proactive. And if nothing changes, here's what happens next. Every week becomes a bigger pile. You stop trusting yourself. You start living with guilt. You start feeling like a fraud because you're a good man, but your life looks sloppy. If you've ever lived that cycle, type, I've lived it. It's important for us to recognize where we've been in our life so that way we can right our wrongs and move forward. But if we never take the time to acknowledge it, we'll stay stuck in the same place. Shout out to the God 4513. I see you. Says, I lived it. Sir Yasharala says, I lived it. I want y'all to listen carefully. This is not a character issue. This is not you being a bad man. This is a reset issue. You don't need more pressure, guys. You need a way to clear the week. Now, you know what? This is the reason why I thank God that He created the Sabbath. The Sabbath day provides a weekly reset. See, we get so busy as human beings, we never take the time to slow down and think. We just do. And before you know it, life passes us by, and we could have played the game differently. But I want to give you a simple way to think through the reset that you ought to take. I'm going to show you the weekly reset move. Let's start first with principles, because as men of order, we are principled men. Our principles will put the order in place. Principle number one: if you don't decide your week decides it for you. I'm going to say it again. If you don't decide your week, the week decides it for you. You choose how you want to live. Let's look at a man that wakes up Monday morning. He didn't look at his calendar. He didn't list what's still open in his life, meaning he didn't write down what was undone from last week. Y'all know how it is. We grind throughout the week, and then we say to ourselves, man, I wish I would have did this week. So then it carries over with us for the week to come. It's an open loop. Bills still need to be paid. Calls still need to be made. Forms got to get filled out. Emails got to be sent. Errands are still sitting there. This guy didn't pick what matters the most. I want y'all to remember this first principle now. If you don't decide your week, the week decides it for you. So what happens? His phone makes all the decisions for him. People will call him at random. They've decided his life. Now he's getting pushed and pulled all over the place. He's not in control of his life. Facebook is in control of his life. Minute he get a push notification on his phone from Facebook or IG, that's how he's living his life. His life is whatever the next text message says it is. His life is whatever the next DM says that it is. His boss decides his life for him. Let's not talk about other people. How other people's needs decide his life. It might get a little uncomfortable today, guys. Other people's needs decide your life. And you spend your life so busy trying to please everybody, you forget who you are. You forget what you need to do with your life because you're so busy trying to appease everyone else, trying to answer every phone call, trying to respond to every text message, trying to respond to everybody else's stuff that they're putting on you because they want to dictate your life. At some point, you got to decide. Not problems. At some point, you got to decide. But what happens while he's stuck in his current mindset, bouncing all over the place, switching tasks every 20 minutes, starting little things, leaving them half done. He wanted to get things done. Then somebody called him, and then whoop, everything is downhill. I need you to understand the mindset that goes into this kind of disorder. This mindset says things like, well, I'm productive because I'm busy. I'm productive because I'm doing something. I feel busy, therefore I'm productive. Not knowing that there's a difference between being busy and being productive. Many people around the world are busy. Very few are productive. When you look at um, the winners of life, the people who set out to accomplish great things, they're focusing on their productivity. They're not focused on being busy because it's not, effort doesn't matter if it's going into the wrong place. But see, when you have a disordered mindset, you tell yourself, if I handle enough small stuff, then I'll finally get around to having time for the big stuff. I used to sabotage myself that way. I used to start my day listing out all of the easiest stuff for me to do, the things that I thought that I could do in 1 or 2 minutes. But you know what's so crazy? I would list all of those things, and it might have been 5, 10 different things. But I told myself, you know what? I could do this real quick. This doesn't seem like nothing. And I always noticed by the end of the day, for every task that I thought would take 1 or 2 minutes, it might have taken longer than I imagined. Something might have popped up as I was trying to do what I thought would take 30 seconds, and then it would end up lasting 30 minutes. Then, before I know it, I've only spent my day majoring in minor things. Oh, and by the way, all of these little things, it wasn't worth anything. It had nothing to do with pushing my business forward. It had nothing to do with growing my family. It had nothing to do with me leaving behind a legacy. I just convinced myself that if I just take this piece of mail to the post office, I could feel good about myself because I've accomplished something, but it doesn't matter if it don't mean nothing. That's how disorder creeps in. When you convince yourself that, hey, if I just get the little stuff done, that'll make time for the big thing, not knowing that if it's really the big thing, that should get top priority. I need y'all to hear what I'm saying. The way that disorder creeps into your life is not you saying, I'm going to start today being a bum and do nothing. Disorder creeps in your life when you tell yourself things that sound good but are bad for you in real life. Programming that you might have got from family, friends, school, work, following after how everybody else lives their life, even though you're called to stand out. If you're going to stand out, you're going to have to stand out from the way that the masses do things. I need y'all to see what this costs a man that moves like this. A man that moves like this never gets to the big stuff. The important stuff gets pushed to later. Later turns into never. Later gets pushed back weeks after weeks. And what keeps happening if nothing changes? He keeps living under other people's plans. They dictate his life for him. He's not in control. He keeps starting things and stopping. He doesn't follow through. He keeps feeling behind, but he doesn't have a solution to catch up and get ahead. And here's what I've noticed. Any season where I felt like I was doing a lot, but finishing little, I had one thing in common. I had no set time to sit my butt down and decide the week in advance. I was letting the week hit me first. And once the week hits you first, you spend the rest of the week trying to recover. If you don't decide your week, the week will decide your life for you. And you got to make a decision that your life means more than leaving it to somebody else. You got to make the decision that your life, it matters more than leaving it to chance. You have to get in the driver's seat of your life. You cannot just afford to go wherever the wind blows. I was letting the week hit me first, and before I knew it, I'm already behind. And now I'm spending the rest of the week trying to catch up on things that I could never get around to. What's the point? If you don't pick the week's targets, you will chase other people's targets instead. Here's how that looks in real life. You wake up with your own stuff to do, but you start the day by responding to everyone else. You spend your best hours on other people's emergencies, other people's wants, and other people's real quick favor. Hey, John, can I get a favor real quick? Hey, Fred, I need to give you a quick call. It's going to be real quick. Then that real quick call turns into a 30-minute call. And now you're totally off course. Has that ever happened to you? If it's happened to you, chat, tell me. It happened to me. Some of y'all had big things going on at the time. And then somebody pulled you to the side. Yeah, can I ask for a quick favor? I just need something. And because you didn't say no, because you didn't want to disappoint them, you watched your life get pushed to the side. And that might have cost you opportunities that you'll never get back, money that you missed out on, relationships that are damaged. It happens, guys. It's life. But then you look up and it's 8:30 at night and your stuff is still just sitting there, unaccomplished, undone, but you'd have been at work all day. The cost is you keep falling behind on the things that build your life, not keep your life in the same place. You keep falling behind on the things that build your life. You see, our job is to get out of a life where you wake up, you go to work, you come home from work, you watch TV, you drink, you eat, go to sleep, and then it's the same life over and over and over again. We've made a decision that we want our life to mean more than that. We're trying to break out of the monotony. You fall behind on the things that build your life. You spend all day on the things that can maintain your life and keep your life exactly as it is. But you got to make time for the things that can elevate you and not keep you in the same place. And if nothing changes, the same week will keep repeating itself. Busy days, no progress, but more pressure. I got a quick question for y'all. Do you usually know your top 3 goals for the week by Monday morning? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Do you usually know your top 3 goals for the week by Monday morning? Yes or no? An ordered man does. An ordered man decides ahead of time what must get done. Not 10 things, the few things that move life forward. That's just a few things. If that hit home for you, chat, type yes. While you're doing that, let me give you the second principle. What you don't write down becomes a leak because it slips out at the wrong time and then it turns into late fees, missed deadlines, and last minute panic. A man has 5 things he needs to do this week. He tells himself, I'll remember. But what is he doing? He's carrying those 5 things in his head all day. He's trying hard not to forget. He keeps replaying it over and over in his head while he's driving, while he works, while he eats. What is he thinking? If I write this down, I feel like it's my way of admitting that I can't handle life. I'm not one of those people that's got to write everything down like I can't be the boss of me. It's not that deep. I'm going to just keep it in my mind. I should be able to keep up. Oh, and this one, this is what a lot of us say. I'm a man. I got it. I'm a man. That's why I'm going to keep everything in my head and not write down my goals and my visions, because I'm a man. And men don't forget their responsibilities. And here's what that foolish mindset cost him. He forgets 2 of the 5 tasks that he needed to get done, which were important. And then he remembers one of them too late. Oh, and now he's lost money. Now everything is more expensive. Have y'all ever wanted to buy something, and at the time that you were buying it or wanted to buy it, it cost one price, but then you got distracted, caught up with other things, and then by the time you came back around to buy the thing, it's a lot more expensive? How many of y'all can relate? Maybe it was a plane ticket. Maybe it was something that you wanted to get months down the line. This is what happens, guys, when we fail to add order to our life. Now it's a late fee. Now it's a rush job. Now it's a hard conversation. And if nothing changes to this man's disordered mentality, what happens next? He keeps losing his time trying to play cleanup, going to apologize to people that he done messed up this task and that task on, fixing this mistake and that mistake that he could have gotten right the first time had he wrote it down. Paying all these extra fees that are racked up because he did not write down what is due on what day. And now he's redoing all this work, having to handle things in a rush, all because he waited too long. He keeps losing money to mistakes. Just think about that. What if you were to actually calculate how much money you lose every year due to mistakes? That's very sobering. The reason why it's sobering is because a lot of people don't feel like they make enough money to even survive. So just imagine struggling to survive, but yet you got all this money going down the toilet, all because you didn't write things down and you thought it was beneath you to do so. This type of man, he keeps losing peace because his mind is always on. He's trained his mind, try to remember everything. And then when he doesn't remember everything, he's replacing tasks in his mind with guilt. He's replacing the burden of trying to remember everything with anxiety. He should never treat his mind that way. And this is something that I've noticed. I've noticed a lot of men treat writing things down like it's school. Like it's some extra assignment that's punishment for them. Like writing standards. Y'all remember writing standards growing up? You had to write a thing 500 times. I will not do this. I will not do this. I will not do this. That's how some of us as adults feel about writing things down from the lessons that we learn as kids. Here it is. We're still holding on to the same emotions that we had as kids when we're adults. I thought we were supposed to put away childish things. I thought in adulthood, we're supposed to do what is best for ourselves, our family, without always worrying about emotions and comfort, guys. That's what I thought. I thought that's what separated children from adults. But see, We go into adulthood, still immature, and then we say, oh no, I don't need to write this down. That feels like homework. But it's not homework. It's how you stop your mind from being a mess. It's how you stop yourself from making so many mistakes. Better yet, it's how you stop yourself from starting things that you don't finish. In other words, if it stays in your head, it will slip because your mind is not a list. See, your mind is already carrying work, the actual work that you're working on. Your mind already got that to think about. Your mind is already carrying enough stress. Your mind is already thinking about family needs, bills, and how tired you are. So the task that you're trying to hold in your mind of what you need to do later, it gets drowned out by louder demands. And then before you know it, you forget only to remember after it's too late. Once the due date is finally here or it's past, once the person that was depending on you is mad at you because you forgot, once the fee hits, that's how it slips. And it's not because you don't care about your life, it's because you never captured your life's tasks in a place where you can actually see it again. Guys, I want you to know something. There are studies that show that people who write down what they need to get from the grocery store are more likely to get all of the items that they need than people who just go into the grocery store with everything in their head. There are studies that show people who end up spending more money at the grocery store, going deeper in debt, are those who go to the grocery store with no list. When they hold it all in their head, you know what happens? Not only do they start to forget the things that they needed to get, they start adding on other things. And that's exactly what our real life looks like. That's how it looks like when it comes to our tasks in general. Some things you don't have it written down, so you forget. And then as a result, you're adding on other shiny things. So now you're committed and spending time and money on the shiny things, but the very thing that would take your life to the next level, the essentials, that's out the window. How do you spot this spirit in yourself? Whenever you hear a task, do you say, I'll remember that? And then you later say, dang, I forgot. Type me if that's you. I'm going to bring that to you again. When you hear a task, when you hear about a task that you need to get done, do you say to yourself, I'll remember that? I got that. I don't need to write it down. I'll remember. And then later you say, dang, I forgot. Woe is me. Type me if that's you. What does an ordered man do instead? He captures it fast. The minute the thought comes to his mind, he's already putting it down on paper. He already has a system to stay on track with his goals and his responsibilities. And you know another thing that ordered men do? They keep all of their responsibilities and tasks that they wrote down in one place. How many times have you taken note of things in 5, 10 places? And then when you need to look up what you need to get done, you can't find it. Okay, you got some tasks written down on a sheet of paper. You got some tasks written down on your computer. You got some tasks sitting in a text message with somebody else. And before you know it, you're racking your brain trying to figure out, man, where did I write down what I was supposed to do? Can you relate? I know we've all been there. Let's look at some of these comments. Shout out to Sir Asaph in the house, my brother. He said, I've learned the hard way too many times. I write it down. Man, Sir Asaph, I wish I knew more about what the hard way really means. Does that mean money? Does that mean opportunity? Does that mean stress? Does that mean relationship problems? When you say, I've learned the hard way too many times that I can't keep a thing in my head, man, I wish I was a fly on the wall about those times that you're talking about where you tried to remember something in your head and you forgot, and then the consequences followed. Look at what Sir Asaph said. All of the above. Guys, this is serious. This is the reason why we start things and don't finish. Not because we're not capable, it's because we haven't applied enough order to our life. And as men of order, we got to do better. Listen, if y'all are getting something good from this, support the work. All right. Show love, super chat, cash app, spread the word. If nothing else, smash that like button because it tells YouTube to send this to more people. How many times do we hear, hey, there are not enough men who are leaders on this planet? There are not enough men who actually have their stuff together. Well, if we as men took the time to get these things right, because this is the foundation, this is the fundamentals that allows us to serve effectively, well, maybe there would be more men who are leaders. Maybe there would be more men who are effective at what they do. But we're going to keep this thing rolling, y'all. What does an ordered man do? He captures the things that he needs to do fast. He doesn't try to always leap into doing the thing. He writes the thing down, knowing that he'll get to it. How does he know that he'll get around to it? Because it's all in one place. He doesn't have it in 10 different places. He has it in one place, so he can see it again during his weekly reset. That's why he does it. It's not so that way he'll kill himself all in one day. He's just writing it down and takes comfort. I'm going to see this again, so I don't have to stress so much in my head. I know that I'm going to revisit this task during my weekly reset. If what I'm saying right now makes sense, guys, I want you to type clear in the chat. I want you to let me know in the comments section. Shout out to Michelle. She said, loving the consistency of the videos. Hey, I'm trying. We getting after it. So Yasharala says, clear. Mrs. Israel says, I have to write it down immediately. Now I have Trello on my phone and laptops. Man, Mrs. Israel, she's something, ain't she? Laptops. Most people don't got one laptop and she over here stunting. Now I have Trello on my phone and laptops to make it easy to enter the task. Can't trust my mind to remember everything. Man, that sounds like a wise woman. Can't trust my mind to remember everything. A lot of times wisdom comes from not thinking of yourself more highly than you ought to think. The man that knows that he knows nothing may have actually learned something about life. And the man that thinks he knows everything knows nothing. Ain't it funny how that works? You see, when we get wiser, a lot of times we get more in tune with our limitations and we err on the side of caution, knowing that our mistakes can be very costly to our family and to our legacy. So again, I want us to talk about principle 3 now. And this is a very important one, guys. Write this down. Y'all ready? Finishing needs a reset, not more effort. Let me say it slowly. Finishing needs a reset, not more effort. A man keeps trying to power through the week. He stays up late. He wakes up tired. He tries so hard to grind, grind, grind. But what is he doing? He's pushing without a plan. He's guessing what matters. He's starting on whatever feels urgent. But what is he thinking? He's thinking, man, if I just go hard, I'll catch up one day. Eventually, I'll get back on track. And what does that mentality cost him? Burnout, bad health. His health gets worse. His attitude gets worse. He starts cutting corners in his work. Now he's doing half done work. I want to say something else, but I got some of my church folks in here, so I got to watch myself. He starts half budding work, doing half behind work. And that's not how you elevate. This type of man, he goes through life making rushed decisions with sloppy follow through. And if nothing changes, what happens next? He keeps living in the same loop. He stays stuck on the hamster wheel of life. We got to get off the hamster wheel, guys. We got to get off the treadmill. If we're going to dedicate our life running through things, giving effort, let's go far with it. Let's get somewhere. Why are we killing ourselves just to run in the same place, to do the same things? Let's make it count. If nothing changes, he's going to keep living in the same loop. He's going to stay constantly stressing about unfinished work that's piling up. And he starts believing that he's not a finisher, but a loser. He starts convincing himself, man, success is just not for me. It's for this person and this person, but I'm just average. I don't have the same talents that this person has. I don't have the same skills. You know what? Because I didn't go to college like this person, that's why I can't be successful. Because I didn't come from this other person's background, that's the reason why I'm not winning. And that's horrible. It's BS. It's a lie. The majority of the millionaires in America today are self-made. Every single day, approximately 1,700 people in America become millionaires. I remember how I felt the day I made my first $1 million in real estate. You know what I was thinking? Man, you know what? It was never any one given day that I had such a big boom. It was just consistent effort dedicated towards things that could take me farther in my life. Thank God I didn't put my every moment towards things that would keep me in the same place. The people that know me in my church know I'm not trying to always stay in the same place. I'm not trying to teach on the same topic every week. I'm not trying to settle for, okay, let's just have church service and then that's it. No, we having a church service because the church service matters, but behind the scenes, we get into it. What project that are we getting on that's going to change the game? What are we going to pursue that's going to change the narrative of what a church is supposed to accomplish? What businesses are we helping people start? How are we helping those who are in poverty? But when you don't put your effort towards things that can move you forward, you start believing that finishing is not for you. You stop seeing yourself as a winner. And that's why we always talk about mindset in men of order. A lot of y'all work hard, but it's the mindset that gets in your way. And this is what I notice about a lot of these men with disordered mindsets. A lot of men don't fail because they can't do the work. They fail because they never stop to reset. They don't even know what a reset is. They've never heard of this concept. So they keep going and going and going towards what? A bunch of nothing. Man, I'm watching video clips of guys working at McDonald's or Burger King for like 30, 40 years. And then on their 40th anniversary, uh, the fast food restaurant got them a bike so they could bike faster to work. They done been working at this company 30, 40 years. Here's a congratulations hat. And 30, 40 years have passed you by. No pension, no generational wealth plan, but you was working hard. But somewhere along the line, you convinced yourself, you know what, this 30, 40 years of compounded effort, I'm not going to put that towards something that could really make my life take off. I'm going to just waste 30 to 40 years just trying to get on by. You know, I come from a small town. You know, us people, we don't aspire for much. You know, we just want to make it. That's it. Until the day you finally hear a voice in your head. What if you'd have done more with your life? You could have did this. You could have did that. Remember when you wanted to accomplish this? Remember when you wanted to accomplish that? Remember how much you dreamed as a child. Think about the types of dreams you had. You never see a child say, you know what? Yeah, when I grow up, I just want to do the basics in life. No, you see children grow up. I want to be an astronaut. I want to, solve world hunger. I want to take on all these things. You become so imaginative and visionary, and then life beats you down. And then you call that adulting. You had more courage to go out here and make something of yourself in life when you was 10 years old. Now you pull up 30, 40 years old and you aspire for nothing and you say, that's life. If that's life, I don't want no part of that life. There's people that's out here, they're just living different, man. And this is what I've noticed. A lot of men, they don't fail because they can't do the work. It's because they never apply order to their work. They never apply order by having a weekly reset. They never stop to look at everything that's on their plate. They never take the time to decide what matters most. So they do anything. What I'm really saying is, if you never reset your week, you will never finish. How do you see this in yourself? I want you to ask yourself a question. When was the last time you sat down, looked at your week, and chose what must get done? If it's been a while, I want you to type, it's been a while. When was the last time that you sat down, looked at your week, and decided this is what must get done during the week? If it's been a while, type, it's been a while. We all get busy. Life gets busy. We go through seasons. This happens to all of us. So if that's you, make it known. It's been a while. If you never reset, you'll never finish what you start. But what does an ordered man do here? An ordered man puts a reset on his calendar. Same day, same time. And he protects that time like it's an appointment. Type yes if you know you need a reset. Put it in the comments. And I just want y'all to think about this. Sometimes you go through life and you think, man, you know what? I just need I need a mental reset. I got a lot going on in my mind. I need a reset. Man, you know what? I'm tired. I've been up a lot lately. I just need a reset. I need some rest. Man, I need a vacation. I'm always working. I need a reset. But you never thought about that when it comes to managing your life. Your life needs a reset. You need a weekly reset. And now I'm going to show you what the weekly reset looks like. Not a big plan, a simple reset. Here's what the weekly reset is. It's a set time each week where you do three things. You look at your calendar for the week. Do you have a calendar? You look at what's still open. You pick your top 3 goals for the week. Let me slow that down and make it real for you. Step number 1, check your calendar. You look at your appointments for the week. You look at your upcoming deadlines. If you're in school, you look at school stuff. If you go to work, you look at work stuff. If you got a family, you look at family stuff. You look at what's in front of you for the week before the week begins so that nothing sneaks up on you. Now, what are you doing when you do this calendar check? You're looking at the week like a man, not just any man, a man of order. A man of order knows what's in front of him and he plans accordingly. This man, he's looking at the week like a man and not like a victim. This is when you're being proactive, not reactive. What should be your mindset while you're doing this? I'm going to face the week before the week faces me. I can face the week on Sunday and plan ahead, or I could wait until Monday and the week will face me. Guys, I want y'all to know something. There's a reason why I'm live right now during the Super Bowl. I'm trying to show you guys how things operate among those who are accomplishing big things. Elon Musk isn't at every Super Bowl. Denzel Washington isn't at every football game. The people who are leaving legacies, they don't have time for every sporting event unless they're getting paid to play the game. They're focused on how they're going to be the Michael Jordan of their arena. See, somebody's going to walk away from that Super Bowl today as a champion. An entire team of men will walk away as winners. Everybody that's on that football field is getting paid a lot of money. But here's the question. What sacrifices did they need to make to get them where they are right now at that Super Bowl? You think they had time to watch every TV show? You think they had time to watch everybody else at the sporting event? No, some of these guys, they would turn off the Super Bowl and say, I'm not going to be watching the Super Bowl until I'm in it. I made a decision in my early 20s that I wouldn't watch certain of my favorite sporting events unless I had the money to go there. I remember in my 20s when I went to go and watch the Dodgers in the World Series. I'm a baseball fan, one of my favorite sports, but I'm not watching every baseball game. I said, man, I'm not going to watch the World Series until I can afford to go to the World Series. And sure enough, I went. What's my point? You gotta have standards. And we're going to talk about that in the next session. But in this session, we're creating a weekly reset so we can set ourselves up for the standards to push us forward. I see you, Sir Yasharala. Yankees. I see you. Yo, we gave y'all the business a couple years ago, but we won't talk about that. Sis Shemaiah says, so true. I love that one. The point is this, guys. We face the week before the week faces you. Now, here's the key. What does doing this cost you? What does having a weekly reset where you check your calendar cost you? It costs you a little time on one day out of the week, but it saves you a week's worth of stress. Only takes a little bit of time for one day, but it saves you heartache all week long. That gives you a big return on your investment. But let's look on the flip side. What happens if you don't do this? Well, the week surprises you. And when the week surprises you because you didn't check your calendar to see everything you had on your plate, surprise turns into panic. Now you're rushing. But now let's look at step number 2 of the weekly reset. Your open loops list. Your open loops list is where you list what's unfinished. Every call you need to make, every bill you need to pay, every project that's half done or hasn't gotten started, every errand you keep pushing off. What are you doing when you do this? You're pulling it out of your head and putting it on paper. It's called a brain dump. And guys, can I tell y'all something? One of the greatest feelings that you can give to your mind is when you empty your mind by writing things down. There's a certain weight that your mind is carrying from everything that you put in here. We take on a lot as men: work, family, our spiritual life, the list goes on. You take it out of your head and you put it on paper. It's liberating. When you do this brain dump, you should be thinking it's on the page so I can manage it. If it's on the page, I can manage this now. Now I got a handle on things. And what does it cost you to do this step? To review your open loop list? It costs you honesty. Because now you finally have to admit what you've avoided doing. And you have to know your limitations. You have to be honest with yourself about what you can really accomplish. See, this is going to show you what you can take on for the moment and what you cannot. But what happens if you don't do it? The same stuff will keep haunting you week after week. The same overdue bill, the same call you keep dodging, the same email you keep meaning to send, the same home problem you keep stepping over. It keeps coming back every week, louder than before. Now let's move on to step 3, your top 3 goals. You pick 3 things that matter most this week. 3. This is where you pick 3 things that matters the most. Guys, I know when the week starts, you feel you could take over the world. But I'm just telling you, it's flawed thinking. Sometimes you overestimate how much you can really do. You're underestimating how long the right thing might take to accomplish. Yeah, you might be able to do 3 little things, but think about the big things that could actually move your life forward. I'm talking about things of substance. Start a business, you can't do that overnight. Write a book, it takes time. Work on a project, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in your life, chances are that's going to take some time and effort. What are the top three things that would signify a successful week? What are you doing when you go through this exercise? You choosing what must get finished, not what you'd like to get finished, not what you wish could get finished. You're choosing what must get finished this week. What are you thinking? What should your mentality be? If I get these three done, the week is a win. Now you have a measuring stick, guys. Before, you couldn't even identify what a winning week was if it slapped you in the face. Now you have measurement. Now it's clear to you. And what does it cost you to add this kind of clarity to your life? Well, it's going to cost you saying no to the wrong thing. Now you can't say yes to everything. Now you're going to have to say no to the things that don't really matter. Now you're going to have to say no to extra stuff. You might have to be just a little bit selfish in order to help somebody else, right? Because I'm willing to bet that you have goals that are for other people's benefit so that you could be a blessing in this world. But you can't help anybody else if you can't help yourself. So you might have to make a decision that I'm going to have to say no to people and they might not understand me. But sooner or later, they'll understand. Now you got to be realistic about your time and what you can accomplish. But what happens if you don't do this? If you don't identify top three things to accomplish as a part of your weekly reset? You'll try to do everything, right? Because the week is wide open. You can do it all. And you end up finishing nothing. If y'all are still with me, I want you to type here. If y'all have been watching this session, taking notes, and you're seeing the bigger picture, let me know that you're still here with me, chat. Type here. I see you here. I see y'all still here with me. All right. So since you're still here, let's go into this word. I want to read to you guys a verse out of the Bible. This is in the book of Isaiah, chapter 46 and verse 10. It reads, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Let me say that for you guys in plain English. God is not guessing. God knows where it ends. Then he speaks from that place. Y'all with me? God declares the end from the beginning. Now, here's what that means in real life for a man of God. If you never decide what done looks like to have a successful week, you'll never finish. Why? Because finishing is not a feeling. Finishing is a decision. The weekly reset is you doing a small version of this. You are deciding the end of the week before the week begins. You're saying by the end of this week, these three things will be done. Then you work backward and place them into your week. I need y'all to hear me. The Bible says, ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be open unto you. But if you're not knowing what to ask for, how are you going to receive it? See, before we go to the Lord in prayer, we make the most of the gifts that God has given us, which is a sound mind to identify the top three things that we need to get done this week. Then we go in prayer. God, give me the strength, give me the energy, give me the clarity, give me the order to make sure that if don't nothing else get accomplished, I'm getting these 3 tasks done. That's what's going to push my life forward. That's what I want to see manifest itself into this life. You get those 3 things identified, and then you work backward at the start of your week, putting those tasks in place. Now you put those tasks on your calendar. You make time for it. Now you circle those tasks on your open loop list. Hey, you might have 1,000 things on that open loop list. But of those 1,000 things, what are the top 3 things that's getting done? Circle them. Now you have your top 3 goals identified. And now, because of that, now you know what I'm done looks like. Now you know what it looks like to finish what you set out to accomplish. If that just clicked for you right now, type I see it. If it makes sense now why you should follow this process, type I see it. This is how you finish what you start. You get a calendar to see the week that's in front of you. You don't need to guess how the week is going to go. You need to be looking and seeing what time commitments do I have. Then you need to be looking at all of the tasks that you have, not in your mind, writing it down, brain dump. It's all in one place. Now you can see everything that you got going. Now you're not just jumping at stuff. Now you're deciding of all of these things that are on my plate, what 3 things matters most? What 3 things? If I could choose any 3 things on my list, if I accomplish these 3 things this week, it would give my life the most meaning, the most fulfillment, the most results, the best outcomes. That's where the real work begins. It's not at the 9 to 5. It's when you made the decision before the 9 to 5 shift even started that you were going to control the week and not let the week control you. So, guys, now is the time. If you keep starting things, but you can't finish it, and your week feels like one long chase, I want to have a real conversation with you right now. Not coaching, not hype, just 2 men talking so I can help you figure out what's really going on and help you finish what you start so you can get important things done and finally make progress. If you're open to having a real conversation with me so I can help you finish what you start, get important things done, and make progress so that you can finally have peace of mind, I want you to click the link, guys. Make sure that your camera is on. Turn YouTube off in the background so that there's no echo when you talk. Sit somewhere quiet so that way we can really focus. And come ready to be honest so we can kick this week off right, y'all. All right? So let's start this today's call off with Brother Frederick. Good to see you on, my brother.
Hey, shalom, sir. But thanks for having me again.
Yes, sir. Always a pleasure. All right. So you know how we do it. If you could let the people know your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, sir. Brother Friedrich, I'm calling from Florida.
Very good. Shout out to Florida. In one sentence, Brother Frederick, what is the main thing that you keep starting but can't seem to finish?
Um, I think it's not just one thing. You know, what I'm saying? I got several things that I'll start and don't finish. You know, what I'm saying? I'll start with I mix personal with business also, and a lot of times, like I said, because I'm a man of I I have a busy mind because I may do it myself. I can do a little bit of many things, but also when I start uh, on starting on different things, it's I don't make time to master one thing also. So it gets in the way of that.
Now you're talking. When you have so many things that you're after, you become a jack of all trades and a master of none. I don't know if you saw this, Brother Frederick, but in the last session, I was talking to a brother named Jason, and he was telling me about how he likes to inquire about a lot of things. And I told him, hey, the next step that you got to take is to really identify the one area of mastery that you want to pursue. So I'm liking where this conversation is going, and I appreciate you for being honest about this, sir. So, okay, you said you got a lot of things going. You can't just bottle it down to one thing that you can't seem to finish. Let me ask you this. What's the main thing that you're tired of carrying mentally? For us as men, we have a lot of thoughts on our mind, right? Our work, our family, maybe the church. We juggle a lot of things. Out of all of the things that you think about, what's the one thing that makes you say, "Man, you know what? I'm carrying a lot of weight here mentally, but I know that it's affecting me."
For me, I would say because I'm trying to establish, uh, far as establishing my life based. You know what I'm saying? Trying to set myself and my family in the best position. It's like I feel like that. You know what I'm saying? It's that as far as establishing my life and putting myself and my family in the best position.
Absolutely. Of course, that's a big one. How do we provide for our families? So, when do you feel this pressure the most? Do you feel it in the morning? Do you feel it when you're working? Do you feel it after work? When do you feel it the most?
I say after work. You know what I'm saying? Because before coming to the truth, I mean, man, I'll 7 days a week. I'm going. You know what I'm saying? But coming to
Mhm.
the truth, start keeping the Sabbath, the Most High Sabbath, or praises for that. So that give me a little time to think, think, and try to reset.
Very good. So let me ask you this. When it comes to unfinished things, where does it pile up the most? Work tasks, money stuff, home stuff, health stuff. Today we're talking about why you can't finish what you start. If there was any one area of life where you feel that you have the most things that you start but don't finish, what area of life would you say?
I'll say home stuff.
Mm. That's interesting. Okay. Could you tell me a little bit more about that? What are the types of things, if you're okay with sharing some of them, that maybe you start but it's hard to finish?
I would say as far as home projects, you know what I'm saying, home project, I'll start doing projects in the house. You know what I'm saying, like just regular remodeling. So I'll get done like I'll get 90% done, 95% done, and I always sit. I come back. I'll let it sit, and I'll come back for it, and I get busy with work and other things, start another thing, and then next thing you know, it's a year passed by it's still 90% not finished.
Very well. So let me ask you this. Why do you think that you start these home projects and don't finish? What's pulling at your time that stops you from finishing it?
Um, what's point of my time? It's I said work and other things that's coming up. Far as other things like that I'm behind on. In other words,
Okay, here's my last question to you. What's the most important thing that you need to get a handle on when it comes to your projects? Is it um, your home projects, or is it something outside of your home projects?
Most important things as far as project goes, uh, I can't say as far as project goes. I mean, I have
Now, mind you, when I'm talking about projects, I'm talking about business, work, church, family, any kinds of responsibilities. I'm saying among all the different areas of your life, are any of those areas higher on your priority list than your home remodeling projects?
yes, yes. Yeah. I mean, as far as work projects, I wouldn't say I always finish as far as work project. I just need to set
Correct.
order.
So here's the reason why I asked you that, brother Frederick, and I know that this might be a little bit hard, but just stay with me. I think that you spend a lot of time starting things and not finishing it on the home projects area, because as much as you may want to work on the home projects, you get pulled in other directions that you know is more important in your life. If you have a light nearby that you could cut on, that'd be
Yes,
great, because it's kind of dark in the background. It's hard to see. If you could get in, kind of get in front of it, so the light is like in front of you, wherever,
yes,
that'd
sir.
be great. But yeah. So what I was saying was, uh, I think what's happening is you're finding yourself not being able to finish what you start when it comes to your home projects, because on some level you know that you're doing it just as a passion, but you know that you really need to be doing other things. Is there some truth to that, do you think?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now here's the hard part. um, you probably should pay someone else to do more of the home projects that you would like to do, because you're putting time towards areas that may not give you the most return on your investment. I would wager to say that if you put a lot of that time and energy that you have going towards the home projects into you uh, remodeling your business, I would imagine that that would be a lot more fruitful long term.
Yes,
I'm going over this because I'm wanting to highlight how all of us, we have things that we like to do and we want to do, and we have reasons as to why we want to do it, but it could get in the way of what matters the most. And one of the things that I just want to continue to stress to you guys is, um, if you are not willing to sacrifice anything to reach your dream becomes the sacrifice. I've had to let go of a lot of things that I would want to do, with my life, just so I could pursue the biggest thing. Because I know that if I don't do that, I'm never going to really reach where I want to reach. When it comes to things like business is not something that you could just afford to do like on the side, or as you mentioned earlier, jack of all trades. It's going to require a certain mastery and a certain focus. And so this is where you're going to have to be very clear about the things that you say yes to in your life and the things that you say no to. And the reason why I'm going here is because, when I had asked you, hey, if you had to think about any area of your life where you tend to start things but you don't finish it, what would it be? You said home projects. And I was very intrigued when you said that. And so The interesting thing is, if you were to sacrifice home projects just for a time and dedicate it towards getting your business right, I'd be willing to bet that you would have the money to be able to put a better investment into your home project, whether it was done by you or someone else. If you make the right push towards remodeling your business, that could probably afford you more money and more time for better remodeling.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna leave you with that, sir. I've got some things that I need to cover, and so I want to give Sir Yasharala some time. I thank you for hopping on. Let's continue to get on these sessions together.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sir Yasharala. Always a pleasure to see you, sir.
Shalom, Chief Elder. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. It's good to see you, man. If you wouldn't mind, sir, please tell the people your name and where you're calling from.
Sir Yasharala. I'm back home in Savannah, Georgia.
Glad to see you back home. In one sentence, what's the main thing you keep starting but can't seem to finish?
Is I got a lot better, but it's making sure that I check my calendar. Sometimes I just be so tired, like you said. Everything else, I just like once I lay down, I'm out. You know what I mean? So it's like, especially being old, my body hurts. Everything else, but like you
Mm-hmm.
said, no, I have got a lot better. But it's making sure that when I do start it, I gotta make myself go back and do it.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's hop right into it. So when you talk about the calendar, uh, do you use a physical calendar or do you use a digital calendar?
The Google app calendar, the
Very
task.
good. Very good. Very
I just
good.
started last week. I just started
Okay.
last week. Listen, you mentioned it. I just started last week because I don't want to pay
Okay.
for a site, not getting used to it yet. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Very well. All right. So here's what we got to do. First, we got to build up the habit of checking that Google Calendar, right? Because it only feels like a task right now because it's not a part of our muscle memory.
Gotcha.
If you can do something for at least 21 days consecutively, it becomes a habit and it doesn't require much effort. A lot of the greatest things that we need to pursue in life need to become habit and not discipline. So when we look at our Google Calendar, let's put ourselves on a 21-day challenge just to review the Google Calendar. I know that I'm talking about the weekly reset during this session, but to get you in the habit of looking at the calendar regularly,
Right.
let's take on a challenge to just try to review our calendar just a little bit every day. Okay, set it
Gotcha.
as a task. That's what I do as a part of my morning routine, right? So I want you to really go through those three steps that we talked about a little bit earlier, which was checking your calendar,
Yes, sir.
identifying your open loop list of the tasks that you need to get done, and then really choosing the top three tasks that you want to accomplish for the week.
Yes,
And
sir.
now going back to, starting the habit of, wanting to check the calendar but not doing it. I know that you're a man of structure, you value structure. You need to have a set time every Sunday to go over this.
Correct.
You need to have a weekly routine. And it cannot be one of those things where it's like, okay, hey, after I get done doing this, that, and the third, then I'm going to go into this routine. Because then,
Right.
you're already um, falling behind.
Correct.
You want to do it in a way to where, if it could be the start of the day, the start of, Sunday morning, getting to it then, that would be ideal. So that way you have the entire week in front of you and you can really look at your calendar and you can really see what you need to get accomplished for the week and what is realistic to do in the days to come, knowing what your schedule looks like. Does that sound good?
Yes, sir. 'Cause I did check this morning, And like tomorrow, my truck, I made a pump for my truck to go in the shop via a service change.
Yes, sir.
And like, and I put it on there. While I'm doing that, I'll take myself to send out certain letters I need to send out tomorrow. So
Yes,
it's doing
sir.
that about 3 hours. So it's taken care of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So the calendar is one very important component. I also want you to install those other two steps because people, they could look at their calendar to see what they have going for the week. You know, what appointments, what deadlines, what other commitments. Remember, that was what I was saying earlier. Like, life has already made decisions for what your week is going to look like. But
Gotcha.
that step 2 and that step 3, it puts the ball back into your court fully, regardless of what commitments you may have for the week, which may not um, always push you forward in the direction that you want to go. You just have commitments that you have to honor to maintain yourself, right? We do step 2 and step 3 on top of reviewing the calendar to ensure that whatever we have going during our week that's put on the calendar, there's
Yes,
always guaranteed times for the things that matter most. Because if we don't have that, our calendar can still get filled up with a lot of mindless errands.
gotcha.
All right, sir. I hope that you got something good from this.
Yes. And
Awesome.
something you said real quick, by the way,
Yes,
what I
sir.
did, I told because I'm contracted to a company, and I told them it's only 4.5 days you have me from now on.
Yes,
Friday
sir.
afternoon, that's it. So you got nothing short, because like you said, I went over my budget. I did do that. I know I would need to make per week, and I can do that in 4 days. You know, and I'm good because I get my VA check. Some of my VA check, I get that. And I look like you said.
Perfect.
I never took time to look at it till you said something. Like,
Yes,
dang.
sir.
So now I didn't know I took 4.5 days. Sorry, that's all you got me. But why?
Perfect.
Hey, I don't need to tell you why. For I'm
Yes, sir.
contracted. But
Yes, sir.
yes,
Now that's some effective time management. So now it sounds like you'll be able to get even more out of the week because you'll be able to work less to make a living, but have more time so that you can thrive.
gotcha.
So follow those 3 steps,
Yes,
check
sir.
calendar, identify the open loops, start putting your top 3 into your calendar after you've identified it. And that will guarantee that no matter the week, you're pressing forward on what matters the most. I appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right now. All right. So we got brother Jason. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well, brother. I really appreciate your time, and it's an honor once again to speak with you.
Hey man, the honor is all mine. Thank you as always for showing up. That's what matters. All right. So talk to me, man. In one sentence, what's the main thing that keeps you starting, but you can't seem to finish? I'm sorry. What's the one main thing that you keep starting? So you've kind of made some headway, but not enough to close it out. What's the main thing that you keep starting, but you can't seem to finish?
I would say, like when we were talking about, uh, like I said, I got out of the military in 2023, and then I've been doing this business, and then also I've been doing like teaching and a little financial consulting on the side. So I would say, in the terms of what what I do that I keep stopping is I haven't commit on like what exact path to take. You know, because prior to the military, I did work in finance, but and I'm thinking I don't know exactly what path to choose. Like I feel like so confused. So I haven't really, committed to anything. And it seems like I'm constantly chasing different paths. So I would say maybe I'll think about like 1 week going back to finance, or maybe I'll hear another like story, and then maybe I'll focus on trying to maybe go into tech sales. So I'm like all over the place in that regard.
Why are you all over the place? Why haven't you chosen one path?
I would say, one time, you know, before I left the financial industry, I had got laid off, and I don't know if that was a traumatic experience at the time. That was shortly before I joined the military, and that whole experience kind of like really, really, colored my judgment because the experience leading up to that was
Mm-hmm.
really bad because I was performing the best, and by all the metrics, I shouldn't have been, fired or whatever or laid off, but that was the decision they made, and then so that was like one of the reasons why I joined the military, and so I'm thinking, should I go back in that industry because that was my education, that was like my experience before the military, or
Mm-hmm.
do I just work or focus on something new? And then I felt like I'm like all over the place. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I thank you for your honesty because I'm happy that you said it instead of me.
Yes.
You experienced an event that made you more reluctant to put all of your eggs in one basket. They got this saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But Andrew Carnegie, who was one of the wealthiest pioneers of America, said, when everybody else says, don't put all your eggs in one basket, I put all of my eggs in one basket and I watch the basket closely. That's one thing that you really want to apply for your success. There was something that happened that made you more cautious about picking a path and seeing it through. And you've got to overcome that. I want to share with you something, and I know that this is going to be of value to everyone. It's called the emotional cycle of change. As we aspire to pursue different opportunities in life, we go through 5 different stages of emotional cycles. Let's start with stage 1, uninformed optimism. Now, this is the most exciting stage. At this stage, you heard about an opportunity and it sounds awesome. People do this all the time. People hear about online marketing. They say, man, you know what? I can make money online. Let's do it. And at this stage, everything that glitters is gold. I mean, we could talk about this all day. Drop shipping, investing in real estate, investing in Forex, investing in crypto, being in insurance, do it. Like, there are so many different ways to make money. And so what happens is people, they jump on different things because they've actually programmed their brain to pursue a high every time they hear about something new and exciting. There's a new thing, but they don't stay with it long enough to reap the benefits of any one industry. Because guess what happens after that? Informed pessimism. See, when you enter into any industry, you're uninformed about how the industry really works. So when you hear about something like, for example, financial consulting, you might think about some of the upsides, but it's not until you really kind of get hands on with it that you see, okay, there are some challenges going down this path. But here's the problem, Jason. Every path has challenges. There is no easy road to mastery. You're always going to have to take the road less traveled, no matter what it is. And so, when we talk about informed pessimism, this is where people's optimism starts to run down a bit because now you start to feel a bit intimidated about everything that it takes to actually be good in this arena. I want y'all to leave me a comment if you can relate to what I'm saying. Have you guys ever considered doing a thing You didn't know everything that went along with it. And then once you started to put your foot in the water, you were like, oh man, it comes with this, that, and the third. Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. I think I'm going to go on to something else. What's the next shiny thing? Now, see, right there, this is when some of you may realize you might have spent your entire adult life going through these two stages over and over again. You never even made it to step 3, stage 4, or stage 5 because you're so busy going through the vicious cycle of shiny object syndrome that comes with uninformed optimism, but then getting deterred by informed pessimism, that the minute that you hear about something good and you get started with it, you get intimidated and then you walk away. So that way you'll never master anything. But let's say that you actually stick with it, despite all of the imperfections along the way of that path that you decided. Then comes the valley of despair. This is where many people give up because you're in the industry and then you realize being successful, it might take longer than you think. I've been on YouTube since 2013, off and on. I remember when I came out with my first YouTube channel, there were very few finance channels at all. I was one of the few Black content creators about finance at the time. And the good thing was I saw an opportunity early, but if I could turn back the hands of time, I really would have stuck with it when I was going through the valley of despair. Hey, I know how to talk. I know what I'm talking about. I'm comfortable on camera, but you got to keep churning through it. You got to keep putting out the content. You may not, get to where you want to be this week, next month, next year. It might take you 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. But just because it takes you a while doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. I don't know if you've ever seen this image of a man. He's digging for diamonds. And he keeps digging and digging and digging. He's almost at the diamonds, but he's discouraged. He thinks that the diamonds are not there because he's been digging a long time and he's never saw it. So he walks away. And he was right there at the cusp of it, but he will never know that because he gave up. This is typically what happens to people in the valley of despair. The key to the valley of despair is you got to see it through. Any path you choose is going to come with hardships. 4th stage, informed optimism. This is when you've seen something through long enough to where you can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. You can finally see success coming, so you feel more optimistic. And then once you've stayed riding now the momentum that comes with the time and you're finally starting to bear the fruit of your labor, then comes the 5th stage of success and fulfillment. Then you get to be the person that goes and tells everyone else how awesome your industry is so that they can get started on the path at stage 1. So I need you to focus on this, man. You got to pick a path. Any path has its hardships. Pick one and put yourself through these stages. Commit to it, the emotional cycle of change. We're going to talk about this more in future days to come. Brother Jason, just continue to hop on with me for future sessions, and I got you, all right?
All right. Thank you, brother.
Did you get some good value from this?
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, man. See you on the next session. All right, now. All right, guys. So did you see what we went over? Guys that they want to accomplish great things. They're already doing great things. Smart guys, hardworking guys, guys that want to leave a legacy. It's about adding order. You get the order by having a weekly reset, picking your path, and then putting your effort towards that. Guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep this in mind before the end of today's session. You can't finish what you start when you keep the list in your head. You don't look at the week ahead. You say yes to more than you can carry. If you never reset, nothing gets closed. So here's the question that's going to change the game for your week starting today. The question is not what's wrong with me. The question is what is still open and when am I closing it? So I want you to do one thing before you log off. I want you to pick the day and time that you're going to have your weekly reset. I want you to type the day in the comments, just the day. You could put sun for Sunday, sat for Saturday. What's going to be the day that you get a handle on your life for the week? What day are you going to reset and look at the week ahead? Now put it on the calendar, not tomorrow, today. Because if you wait, the week will hit you again. All right, guys. The next session is about why your standards keep slipping. You must have standards to stay on track. Standards help you reach your goals. If you don't have standards, you'll burn out fast and fall behind. Now, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Sunday, Monday, Sunday, 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 Sunday. Perfect. Well, hey, it's Sunday today. Let's get to it. Let's set it as a standard. Sunday, this is when I'm having my weekly reset. Standards help you reach your goals. If you don't have standards, you'll burn out fast and fall behind. So make sure you join me this Tuesday, February the 10th at 8 p.m. Central, where I'll show you how to get back on track with your life. Mark your calendars, guys. Until next time, walk in order, brothers. Peace.